When stars come out and skies turn deep, it's time for hearts to softly keep the love of God, both big and small, to share with others, one and all. Be kind to friends, both near and far. God sees your heart just where you are. A smile, a hurt, a hug, a gentle word can spread His love through all the world. Your God loves hearts that shine, not stun. Show tenderness, that's all, not stun. The quiet ones who help, not stun. Show tenderness, that shine, not there. When someone stumbles, who help with care.
Joshua and the Walls of Jericho.
Ancient land of Canaan. After Moses led his people from Egypt, a new leader arose, Joshua, strong and faithful. He was tasked with guiding the Israelites into the promised land, a land flowing with milk and honey. But first, they faced a formidable challenge. Before them lay the great city of Jericho, a city surrounded by massive, impenetrable walls that reached towards the sky. The people of Jericho were mighty warriors, and their city was a stronghold, seemingly impossible to conquer. Joshua, a man of unwavering faith, knew that human strength alone would not suffice. He prayed to God, seeking guidance and wisdom for the task ahead. God heard his prayer and revealed a plan, unlike any military strategy known to man. God instructed Joshua to have his armed men march around the city once a day for 6 days. 7 priests were to carry trumpets made of ram's horns, marching ahead of the Ark of the Covenant, the sacred chest symbolizing God's presence. On the 7th day, the command was different. On this day, they were to march around Jericho, not once, but 7 times. As they marched the 7th time, the priests would blow a long blast on their trumpets, and all the people were to shout with a great roar. Joshua gathered his people, delivering God's precise instructions. His face was resolute, his voice calm and confident, instilling trust in the hearts of the Israelites. Despite the unconventional nature of the plan, their faith in Joshua, and more importantly, in God, spurred them on. Among the inhabitants of Jericho lived a woman named Rahab. She was not an Israelite, but she had heard tales of their God's mighty deeds, how he had parted the Red Sea and defeated powerful kings. Before the siege began, Joshua had sent 2 spies into Jericho to scout the land. Rahab, despite the danger to herself, hid them from the king's men, recognizing their mission and believing in the power of their God. She made a covenant with the spies, asking them to spare her family when the city fell, in exchange for her help. They agreed, instructing her to tie a scarlet cord in her window as a sign, and to gather her family inside her house. And so, on the first day, the silent march began. The armed men, followed by the priests with their trumpets, then the Ark of the Covenant, and finally the rear guard, circled the mighty walls of Jericho. The people watched, a mixture of awe and trepidation in their hearts. Day after day, for 6 days, the procession continued. The only sounds were the measured footsteps and the occasional shofar blasts, a haunting melody that filled the air. The people of Jericho must have watched from their walls, confused and perhaps mocking this strange ritual. Joshua remained steadfast, his faith an unyielding beacon for his people. He reminded them to trust in God's timing and his power, to remain silent until the appointed moment, for the victory belonged to the Lord. On the 7th day, as the sun began its ascent, the Israelites rose early. The anticipation was palpable. a hush falling over the camp. They knew this day would be different. This was the day of God's promised intervention. They marched around the city, not once, but 7 times, their footsteps echoing with a renewed sense of purpose. The sound of the trumpets grew more insistent, each blast a drumbeat of destiny. Rahab, with her family gathered safely within her house, watched from her window, the scarlet cord a vibrant symbol of hope against the ancient stone. Her heart pounded with a mixture of fear and unwavering trust in the promise made to her. Finally, after the 7th circuit, a long, sustained blast from the trumpets pierced the air. Joshua, his voice amplified by divine authority, cried out, "Shout, for the Lord has given you the city." And at his command, a mighty roar erupted from the throats of thousands of Israelites, a sound unlike any earthly battle cry. It was a shout of faith, of obedience, and of absolute conviction in God's power. And then, a miracle. The colossal walls of Jericho, those seemingly unconquerable fortifications, began to tremble. Great cracks appeared, dust billowed, and with a thunderous roar, they collapsed flat. The way into the city was now open, laid bare for the Israelites. The only structure left, standing amidst the rubble, was Rahab's house, marked by the scarlet cord, a testament to God's faithfulness and her own courageous belief. Joshua commanded his men to go into the city, but to spare Rahab and her family, honoring the covenant made by the spies. And so, they brought her and all her relatives out, placing them in safety outside the camp of Israel. The city of Jericho was taken, not by human might, but by divine intervention. It was a profound lesson for the Israelites, reminding them that with God, all things are possible, and obedience brings victory. Joshua ensured that Rahab and her family were welcomed among the Israelites. Rahab, once an outsider, became a part of God's chosen people, a testament to God's mercy and inclusion. Her story became a vital part of Israel's history, highlighting that faith can be found in unexpected places, and God's plan often extends beyond the boundaries we create. The events at Jericho instilled deep reverence for God in the hearts of the Israelites. It cemented Joshua's leadership and demonstrated God's unwavering commitment to his promises. From that day forward, the Israelites understood that their strength lay not in their weapons or their numbers, but in their complete trust and obedience to the Lord their God. The story of Jericho serves as a powerful reminder that there are times in our lives when we face challenges that seem insurmountable, like towering walls blocking our path. In such moments, human logic and conventional solutions may fail us. It is then that we are called to place our trust completely in a higher power, in God's wisdom and his unconventional ways. Like Joshua, we must seek divine guidance, listen for his instructions and obey them, even if they seem illogical or strange to our limited understanding. And like Rahab, we must cultivate faith, recognizing God's power even when we are outsiders, and act on that belief, trusting in his promises of protection and deliverance. The walls of Jericho did not fall because of swords or spears, but because of faith, obedience, and the mighty power of God. It teaches us that true victory comes not from our own strength, but from aligning ourselves with the divine. So when faced with your own walls of Jericho, remember to pray, listen, obey, and shout with faith. For God's power can bring down any obstacle, paving the way for his promised blessings in your life. The lesson of Jericho endures. Trust in God completely, obey his commands, and witness the miraculous ways he